Kathleen Kennedy is headed out of Lucasfilm. It's looking more and more likely it's true. But guess what, folks? There's more to the story than you knew. It turns out there may be a directive from Disney to switch Star Wars back to the OG even before she says, "Oh gee, it looks like my key card works no more." Today we'll tell you what's happening at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and a Galaxy's Edge where Luke and friends are coming back to fans again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy to have you here with us, and we are overjoyed at the news that Star Wars may cruise back to the middle, back to the sensible center where money is made, although this is one franchise that may take a decade or more to heal, if ever. It will depend on the leadership change. Disney, however, seems already intent on trying to fix things, even as Kathleen is just now rummaging through her office to find what things she needs. Today we'll talk about how it's going with the theme parks and why we think they're showing that they're going back to the OG. All right, folks, take a look at this. It's out of Screen Rant, and it's talking about the disturbance in the force, Kathleen Kennedy's departure reportedly complicated by an earlier leadership change. It goes on to say, essentially, here that Kathleen Kennedy was waiting, just waiting. Watch this. THR reports that matters were complicated by the departure of Rain Roberts, Lucasfilm's vice president of film development, until she moved on to Searchlight Pictures this year. Roberts joined Lucasfilm back in 2012. Now, I don't know if anybody had ever heard of Rain Roberts before, really. This was not a name we had ever associated with being the next leader of Lucasfilm, but apparently that is the new narrative for why it is that Kathleen Kennedy was just waiting, and could not get out of there. It has nothing to do with the fact that Star Wars is rudderless and completely off the rails. Again, out of Screen Rant, Star Wars canceled Mandalorian spinoff is becoming an even bigger problem. What is it talking about in this article? Well, it turns out, according to Screen Rant, that one of Kathleen Kennedy's biggest boo-boos, which was getting rid of Gina Carano, caused a huge kerfuffle in that all of the stories related to the New Republic that were going to be in the Rangers of the New Republic, well, they got offloaded onto the other series that people didn't watch, series that didn't have room for those stories. And it turns out that we were probably going to find out what happened with Grogu and Luke during Rangers of the New Republic. And, well, things just did not go well. So what are we up to now, folks? Well, it turns out that the one thing we can say with some definitive information is that it's looking like Disney is ready to not necessarily decanonize the sequel trilogy, but to go back to the OG. Take a look at this. It's out of Disney Parks. It says, just announced, a new Shadows of Memory, a Skywalker saga nighttime experience will debut March 28th in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, plus rumored sightings of Luke Skywalker in Batuu as part of a limited time Season of the Force event at Disneyland. Now, this was given to us prior to Kathleen Kennedy's announcement, or leaked, I guess, reveal that she's retiring. If it comes true, it looks to me like the one directive that is coming out from Disney and Lucasfilm prior to her exit is go back to the OG. Go back to what works, even if they don't decanonize. The strategizing they have right now is go back to the characters we paid for. I want to give one quick analogy, then we'll go to Lauren and the rest of the panel. By the way, as we do so, let me bring in Steve from Floral from Under a Rock. Welcome in, Steve.
Thank you.
But here's what we're hearing, and here's the analogy I'll make. Them going back to Luke, Han, Leia, etc., Yoda, Darth, you get the idea. The analogy I have is it's as if somebody were to have bought the Batman franchise, and then they decided to make Batman and all of his side characters weak, stupid, killed them off, and turned everything into Barbara Gordon. There's nothing wrong with Barbara Gordon, but making all of Batman be about Barbara Gordon, probably not a good idea. Lauren, it looks like, based on this, well, I'll just go ahead and say, we're hearing, although we cannot confirm, that this is the beginning of Disneyland and Walt Disney World just getting rid of the sequel trilogy aspect of Galaxy's Edge and making this be an area that celebrates all of Star Wars. So, Lauren, is that the way for them to go at this point, do you think? And is that really what this Kathleen Kennedy retirement is all about. The fact that the stuff she made just isn't popular.
Well, this is kind of why I disagree with the idea that she may stick around to spite Puck and to make him baloney look foolish. That may have been a plan, but if you've seen all of the outcry, including in the trades, since this got leaked, I don't think that's a genie they can put back in the bottle. They've been trying to pretend all this time that it's a minority of people who don't like Disney Star Wars and what's happened under the Kathleen Kennedy regime, and that's been laid bare now. It's patently false. Everybody celebrated the fact that she was going. So I think the investors are going to look at that and say, look, we have a problem. We're tired of not making money. There are signs already that they are trying to turn the ship. One of those is this Galaxy's Edge announcement that you were just talking about. The other is something I think we're going to be talking about later that we've also discussed previously, which was bringing in Derek Hoffman. I think they still have to figure out what exactly are we going to have to do. If I was writing a prescription for them, this is what's never going to happen. They need to actually make an apology, a real one, where they come out and they make a statement of some kind that says, we have not been good stewards of this property in the past, but we're working to try and restore your confidence in our stewardship of it. They need to make an apology to Gina Carano. They need to remove the sequel trilogy from canon. And then they need to announce that they're going to bring in some lore experts who are going to have the ability to shape canon going into the future. They will have veto power over creatives who want to do something that would take things a little too sideways. And out of this group, they need to have one person who becomes the creative visionary for Star Wars going forward. I think to execute this kind of plan would take about 5 years. You've got to cull the dead wood that's in Lucasfilm now, all of the people that have been planted there, and you have to rebuild your teams, rebuild your creative structure, start building out what your storylines are going to be, and then execute on them. And do it as a surprise. Don't announce anything. Go quiet. And then surprise everybody with an announcement once you've got the plan in place. And once you've already got pre-production underway and you're already near to being able to start filming.
Let me go to Vash on this and then we'll come back. Vash, even before this announcement that Kathleen Kennedy is retiring that was leaked out by Puck News, we had the news that Galaxy's Edge, that's the Star Wars themed Disneyland and Walt Disney World areas, they're going to be introducing Luke, Han, Leia, and more into the land. And some people are saying, well, you know, this is set in the sequel trilogy. It's based on The Last Jedi. You can't change it. It's too expensive. And to that I say, down there in the bottom of this concept art, the Millennium Falcon, they're already switching that over to the Mandalorian. So, I mean, all of this is now going to be switched over to celebrating the OG, the Mandalorian, maybe the prequels. And I guess it's expensive to change over Rise of the Resistance, so it may stay the same. But this is largely now going to be a land that is a potpourri of Star Wars and no longer centered on, you know, the bucket-headed one, Rian Johnson, Mr. Subvert Your Expectations. This is going to be all of Star Wars as was originally planned, just less than we could have had. Is that where we're headed, Vash?
I really hope it is. There was definitely a shifting of how this was all working when Mandalorian was first introduced with Boba Fett and I think Ahsoka as well. These kind of Filoni-verse characters, let's say, that were introduced to the land. Because remember, before it was very strict between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker was the time period this was set at. So to get any of those characters was a big revelation. It was like, whoa, we're moved away from this in a big way. I with the introduction of Luke Skywalker, it is awesome. It's amazing. But again, this is a Luke Skywalker that is kind of consistent with those other characters from the Filoni-verse. I think we need to see a little bit more of the characters incorporated, like Han Solo, like Princess Leia, and so forth, to really get an idea of where they're going to take this land from where it is right now. Again, we have heard that Kathleen Kennedy was very... she influenced how this land would be presented in a big way. If we are really getting away from that, I think we need to see more evidence of that. This is a limited run Season of the Force type festival event there at Disneyland. We need to see Luke at Walt Disney World, and I think beyond a projection show, we need to see more characters incorporated to fully say that we are getting away from this officially.
Well, and pay attention to which Luke this is. This is not Farm Boy Luke. This is the Luke that we saw in Mandalorian Season 2. And
Correct.
so one of the biggest scoops that we have, like Bellany right now is staking his entire scooper career on what he's saying. We've put a lot of cachet on the scoop we had that Luke Skywalker will be in the Mandalorian movie. This looks to me to be their effort to begin cross-promotion, getting Luke back into this. And where is he at? He's at the ride that's about to become the Mandalorian. It's
And this was
I think it's
very big
it's
announcement,
connected.
by the way, bro.
Yeah,
I actually sort of disagree with the idea that Baloney is putting his entire reputation at stake here too, because I suspect that what they may want to do is just not say anything. Initially I thought that what they wanted to do and why they were putting out this CNN story was because they didn't want to make the official announcement until Star Wars Celebration. But I could see them keeping their mouth shut until her new contract is expired, which, if she did extend for a year, which is what we all believe, would be in October. Do you think anybody's going to be thinking about what Matthew Baloney said in February and October? I don't.
I think this is big enough. We're counting down now.
I think I want to, because I agree with Lauren, but I actually disagree with Lauren, and I don't. I'm gonna.
All right, Schrodinger, get started. Tell us the cat's alive and dead. Go ahead, man.
Right. So Lauren's reasoning is actually why I don't think that the leak was. I think it was far more intentional. I'm wondering, because we know that the way that these folks play is like junior high rules. So was this a leak, or is this a sting job? Because I don't know if anyone's actually talked about this. Is this a sting? Like, is someone trying to make a hit to prove that her leaving would be celebrated not just in the trades but kind of globally? Go ahead.
I think that's a good thought, and it had occurred to me. But if that was their intention, I think they overplayed their hand, because I don't think you can walk this back now. They can deny that she's leaving all they want.
I think that's the point.
It may be, but I mean, that's a risky play if you don't already have somebody in the wings to come in and take over. Now, actually, I have some thoughts on that too. I think Pro kind of knows what my thinking is. I'm curious to see what everybody else has to say.
Well, apparently a cat walked in my room. Yeah, this feels an awful lot like Biden endorsing Kamala, or perhaps Elon sending an email asking people to tell them 5 things he did. This is a different kind of a hit, perhaps, and if so, it's working well.
That's the thing, because everyone's been waiting for this, but because it's coming from Puck, it's coming from Baloney, and it was passed on to him from somewhere, right? Like, obviously, I don't know who would do it.
He's in these circles with these people. He has been in Hollywood in a position to gather information for his entire career before he started Puck Media.
Yeah, he's a THR guy. He's a Hollywood Reporter guy.
But I'm wondering if he was there, like,
agent,
hey,
attorney,
we're gonna say Kathleen's leaving, and she didn't know. Right?
She knows now.
She's been, listen,
that's the thing.
She's been leading Lucasfilm in title only. I want to go to Kevin, though. Kevin, it looks to me like whether or not she is officially leaving, she's already left in terms of spirit, right? The sequel trilogy ride, the giant hotel is closed. That couldn't be sustained. Now the area that was supposed to be this giant glorification of everything Kathy was doing, they're switching it back to George's stuff. The Mandalorian movie is the only movie they have. They have nothing else. This is going back. Everything that she has done is being dropped to the wayside. Am I wrong, Kevin?
No, you're 100% right. Listen, she is, for all intents and purposes, the chairwoman of Mortis. She is just a prop. Unfortunately, this prop set the building on fire and left it a smoldering heap of ash and rubble. But, she's just there because who wants this job right now? I don't really think there's a dump truck with enough money to back up to someone's front yard to say that they want to go jump on this live grenade. I whoever takes this, God bless them. They have a lot of work to do, and they have a lot of dead wood to clean out. And we all know that those folks are not going to go gentle.
It's like being asked to be a gourmet chef at the Moss Isley Cantina. Good luck with that. Good luck with it. Ooh. Hey, Nolan, tell us about the foodies out there who want something good from Star Wars again. Do you think it's going to be? Do you think Disney is going to start serving up more sequel trilogy stuff? Or are they going to switch up and try to dump this Thrawn thing as quick as they can and get back to OG?
Well, Disney isn't even competent enough to give them McDonald's grade cooking, so let's get that dream out the window there. But honestly, when it comes down to Lucasfilm, you're going to need an outsider who's going to know how to balance a checkbook and cares about the lore. Heck, you could throw, I know this sounds crazy because the dude's an actor, but you could throw like someone like passionate like Keanu Reeves or something like that, and he'll put more effort into most of the people on the short list for this job. You have to be a strong leader coming in here. And the problem is, even if it's inside, outside, whatever have you, if someone comes in and loves the brand and wants to make major changes, I just don't think they can, because at the end of the day, their main leader is Bob Iger. And he has a philosophy he wants to push to ideally get him possibly, as the rumor said, more power politically. And I just don't see him flying with someone coming in being like, yeah, we need to put a hammer to all this girl power or anything else we were trying to push with the Acolyte, because I don't think that's going to get him anywhere. And at the end of the day, the parks, the shows, everything suffers under Iger. The one brand I've seen that's gotten away with the most just very recently here is like Marvel would say Deadpool and Wolverine. But I just don't think that this group is powerful enough, even if they get someone passionate in there, to break free of his grip.
I think that Iger has actually been, my feeling is Iger is mortally wounded right now. And I don't think that's apparent yet, but he made a lot of promises last year to investors to keep pelts off the board. None of those promises came to fruition. The political winds have changed, and Hollywood can no longer claim that they have that they have winds at their back. They know that. I think the Emperor has been revealed to be naked, and I think that there are changes that are now being forced on Disney that aren't immediately apparent, but I think that they are changing. It's not going to be apparent for a while, but there are signs that is happening. And I think that's the most interesting thing going on right now.
And I would just add, too, that, right now there seems to be the beginning of a campaign to kind of blame Bob Chapek for the Disney park situation, which is to say that they know they have a Disney park situation. And Bob Iger seems very good. If beyond just acquiring stuff, he's also really good at blaming people. And so I just wonder if getting rid of Kathy in the last year of his tenure is a way for him to say, this whole Kathy thing over Star Wars didn't work. I'm going to give you the way to make this go forward the right way. Kevin?
Well, I was going to say, what are the chances that Iger was the one who leaked the story? It's not like he hasn't done something like this in the past.
Belen, he does have a relationship with him, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he has a direct pathway, and he's going to say, well, they'll say whatever he tells them to say. And again, knowing how wounded he is, knowing that not a single promise he made last year was delivered, and knowing that the clock is running out on his tenure, why not, pull out a few thorns in your side, take a couple of scalps, and try to make yourself look as good as humanly possible going out the door. You can go, look, guys, I helped you fix Star Wars. Never mind that I brought the kerosene to the fire, but hey, I helped you fix it.
See, I think that we should start a new rumor. Folks, this is what we're going to be doing in just a little bit. I think we need to start a new rumor. And the new rumor I think we need to start is we need to get out there and tell people facetiously, we don't mean it, but we should get out there and start the rumor that Leslie Headland is the one leaking all this, and that Leslie Headland is a woman scorned. Can you imagine? We can write an entire novel about Leslie Headland being tossed away by Kathleen Kennedy and now jaded and viciously angry. Lauren, you don't think people would buy it?
I don't think you have to write that novel. I think all the Acolyte fans and High Republic fans are writing their own fan fiction already.
Oh, well, it's the only thing. It's the only fiction they're gonna get. So, how about that? Fan fiction it is, and they'll not get the win with anything out of Lucasfilm again. Rey movie? Yeah, I don't think so. Probably not happening unless they try to save face. You know, it's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land. 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels. That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.